We're gonna make my favorite hummus today, such a base recipe to have in your fridge. Mine is a little fancy, but so simple, so good. I learned how to make this from a really good friend of mine in college, and then I had to bring it to every potluck, dinner party, anything I ever went to. So if I wanted to make something else, because I love to cook clearly and like to experiment with new things, especially with my friends, and sharing food with people is so important to me, I would also have to make hummus. So we're gonna open our can. We're gonna use a 15.5 or 16 ounce can of garbanzo beans. And you don't have to do this, but you can save the liquid, which is aquafaba. And you can use that for baking meringues, making vegan mayonnaise, using it in drinks instead of egg whites, which is wonderful, in like a pisco sour. We're gonna set that aside, covered in the fridge. You can freeze this for later too. And I'm gonna rinse my garbanzo beans and be right back. So you can totally soak and cook your own garbanzo beans. We do that at my restaurant, but at home, I often don't think that far in advance, maybe half the time at least. So I'm gonna throw these right in. Use a can, don't leave the lid in your food processor. We're gonna food process these. And so we have our can of garbanzo beans. Next up is one of my not so secret ingredients, because now it's on YouTube for all of you, is coconut aminos, which is literally just organic coconut tree sap dried and aged with sea salt. You can use soy sauce or wheat-free tamari in its place, but those both are going to be saltier. This is it's a lot less salty and it's a little more sweet, but it's not gonna be a sweet hummus, don't worry. So this is my soy-free, gluten-free alternative. We're gonna use 2 tablespoons. And you can find this at any health food store. Thrive Market is a really awesome online grocer that I'll link to for you. We're also gonna add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. If you don't have lemon juice, you can use a food grade essential oil like lemon essential oil. 1 to 2 drops is plenty. I use doTERRA essential oils because they are food grade when many are not. So let's see, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I was just checking my recipe. And then we're gonna add some salt. We're gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I use Himalayan salt, but you can use real salt, kosher, or whatever you've got laying around. 3 tablespoons of sesame tahini, which I have already measured out. Okay, mas. We're gonna use a 1/4 cup of filtered or spring water, or whatever water you've got, if you've got nice clean tap water. We need some olive oil, which is optional. You can leave the oil out, but we're gonna use 1 teaspoon of olive oil. We actually, the hummus that we make at Super Fresh at my restaurant is oil-free. Other than the tahini, which is very fatty and oily, but it doesn't have added oil. We also make our hummus garlic free because there's so many garlic allergy people. So, but I love adding garlic to my hummus. So I'm gonna smash my garlic like this with a flat knife, carefully. And then the peel comes right off. Bada bing, bada boom. Almost. You could use garlic powder in this place, or you could use minced garlic if you have a little container in your fridge. I'm gonna cut these little ends off. And if there are any funky little parts, I've got a little bit of funk on mine, but it's not bad. Not even enough to show you what it is. And then I'm actually gonna chop these up a tiny bit more, just to help the food processor do its job faster. I think I already added my lemon juice, yeah? And now we just need apple cider vinegar, secret sauce ingredient. We're gonna use 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, so I'm just gonna grab that really quick. My massive jug. And this is what happens when you have a restaurant. I have massive jugs of things, like my vinegar. Sometimes, not always. There we go. 1 teaspoon. You can leave that out if you don't like, if you don't want to, but I encourage you to try it. It's really good. So we're gonna blend that right up. Food process it right up. And I think it's ready, but I'm gonna give it a check first. So you wanna make sure it's super smooth. Sometimes if you're doing cooked garbanzo beans, you can take the peel off. But this is my quick and lazy hummus. I'm gonna food process it a little bit more. It's not a blender, it's a food, but you can actually, I have blended this specific hummus recipe before and it was really good. So you can totally do that. Okay, that looks better. There were some garlic chunks in there and I just wanted it a little smoother. And you can play with it, depending on how much liquid. If you had some remaining from the can of garbanzo beans, it can vary. The recipe can change slightly. And I'm gonna link to, the recipe is also on my blog, so I'll link to that for you below. I would love to hear if you've ever made hummus before. This is an awesome base recipe and you can add from here. You could add herbs, different spices. Cumin is awesome in hummus, parsley, oregano, rosemary. I'm just gonna pour this in a little bowl and show you what it looks like. So this hummus does freeze really well, but this is not a large batch. So this is just great to make for the week. Save yourself some money from buying store-bought hummus. It's so good. It also will last in the fridge in a sealed container for several days, probably at least a week. At least a week, yeah. A very traditional way to serve your hummus. I'm gonna quickly just wipe up my cutting board because it's bothering my Virgo self. A very traditional way to serve your hummus. So you have it in your bowl. If you're gonna have some people over or enjoy it later, like this dip. It's just take a spoon and you can make a nice little crevice in there. Crevasse. Tasting is always good before you take it out of the food processor in case you need to adjust, add some more salt, play with it a little bit. Just drizzle a little olive oil on it. And this would be really good. You can sprinkle some pine nuts on there, sprinkle some fresh herbs, dried herbs. Let's see what I've got. So my mom loves dehydrating carrot tops from her garden and they are so delicious. And then she sends me bags and bags and bags of dehydrated carrot tops. So I love sprinkling it on, and it looks like I got a little calendula petal in there too, which she also dehydrates bags and bags and bags of for me from her garden. Every day she's out there picking them. And that's it. So you can set it in the fridge. You could even sprinkle some paprika on there if you wanted. Put that in the fridge and then you can dip it later with your veggies, or you could just put it straight in a sealed container and have it ready to put on your sandwiches, wraps, veggie dip, whatever you want later.